What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Life's a Garden. Today's positive motivational message is enjoy it while it lasts. Enjoy the people that you love in your life. Enjoy the good times that you have, the memories that you are currently making. Take stock. Recognize those things and cherish them while you have them. Because as we know, all good things eventually do come to an end. And with that, let's get into today's episode. It's episode 245 of Life's a Garden. Thank you all so very much for joining me here on another episode of Life's a Garden. It's very much appreciated anytime you all tune in, listen to me rant about crazy shit, or maybe say some funny stuff, talk about stories, tell life stories, talk about things that are going on in the world, giving my take on certain things. It's always been so much appreciated to have you be a part of this show and to tune in and just the support. Any support you've ever given, whether you've watched one episode or all the episodes, the appreciation is there from me. If you're a subscriber, if you listen to all the episodes, I just want to recognize you as a listener and truly show my appreciation for everything. As you can see, we're here late again, another week late to the podcast. Normally posting on Mondays, here we are posting on a Tuesday. And this seems to be a reoccurring theme. And I came to a very hard realization. That I can't make an excuse anymore. I've always got excuses as to why I'm late or why I sometimes don't post an episode, take a week off, things like that. And I realized I can't make excuses anymore. I have to look myself in the mirror and realize what the truth, what I'm not willing to accept. And that is, unfortunately, that my heart's just not in this game anymore. There was a time when I was very excited to sit down, film a podcast, talk about all the stuff in the world, just tell stories, I would eagerly await, like, this is the day I'm recording. I'm very excited. And over the past few months, it just hasn't been that way. It feels more like I have to do it rather than want to do it. I don't want this to feel like work. I don't want to feel like I'm forced to put out a podcast, because it's just the thing that we do. You're supposed to put out a podcast every week, and then some weeks it just doesn't feel like I want to. And then I just force myself to do it, and it feels like I'm putting myself out to do it. It's not enjoyable like it once was. I don't get the same thrill, the same enjoyment. I mean, I've never made a dime on this thing, right? So the only reason I would ever do this is out of pure enjoyment and to be able to just put out entertaining content and talk to the world and give my opinion on certain things. And I've lost that joy. It just isn't the same as it once was. So with all that being said, I reluctantly tell you that I'm stepping away from the podcast game. And this will be my last episode. Maybe somewhere down the line, we can bring it back and I'll find that fire again, you know? I'm not saying this is necessarily the end, but I think it's going to be the end for a good while. I need to take a break, you know? And it sucks because, dude, I've been doing this for almost 5 years. That's crazy. 5 years, almost every single week, posting. We've maybe missed, 5 or 6 weeks in that 5 years. That's pretty impressive, if you ask me. That's a lot of podcasting. There's a lot of hours of me talking on this show. We've had a lot of awesome moments, a lot of awesome times here on the show. Plenty of huge holiday specials that were fun to do. We've watched videos, broken down a lot of the biggest happenings in the world, multiple elections, so many great guests. I can't forget to thank all the guests. All the great guests that have been on this show before. And the ones that have returned. Those that have only been on one time. Sometimes I think back to episodes that were 5 years ago. And I'm like, geez, I forgot I had that person on. And it's great to know that that's out there. I could always go back and just listen and see. And this, dude, let me just say, what a long way that this thing has come. From the production value to the audience and the gravity that the clips bring. I've gotten a lot of views and comments on clips that I've done over the years. We obviously have had, upgraded equipment through the years. And it's just been a slow, steady, build. And it's brought us to this. And eventually, like I said, man, all good things eventually do have to come to an end. I wasn't going to be able to do this podcast forever. I always knew one day this would have to come to an end. And it felt weird because it's kind of become part of my routine in a way. And I think that was part of the moment of my realization that it's time to step back from this, is because I don't want it to be a part of my routine anymore. Does that make sense? As it was being part of my routine, the more and more I've done it, and just mostly recently, I haven't had that drive, and it's I don't want. It's becoming more of a burden. Does that make sense? And it's not. I don't want it in my routine anymore. And when you make that realization, you kind of just got to be like, well, why am I still doing this? What's the point? If I'm not enjoying it, why would I continue? I want to do this and enjoy it. And you deserve that too. Why would you want to listen? Why do I expect you to listen to me talk for an hour and have me not even be interested in what I'm talking about, or not have the right energy and focus and trying to be funny and trying to be motivational or positive or whatever. So it's not fair to you either as an audience. Yeah, this whole week I've just been thinking about, I've just been reflecting on all the great times we've had, all the good memories, and like I said, guests, and so many guests that I didn't get to have that I wish I could have. I wish I could have gone back and done some episodes with people that I can't really do them with anymore. There's people that I've been wanting to have on for a long time. It just never happened. And like I said, this might not be the end forever, but it is the end for now. And I just want to thank every single one of you out there, all the listeners, all the supporters. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping grow this garden and making it what it is. Enjoy it while it lasts, you know what I mean? Because this was a decision I came to just a few weeks ago. I didn't truly think this was going to happen suddenly like this. And that's what I'm saying. Enjoy it while it lasts, because you don't know when it's time for it to be gone. Sometimes things need to be done and be over with. So this is the last episode for a while. And I, again, appreciate every single one of you. I got a few good topics here that we can make sure to close out on. We'll reminisce on old times and talk about all the good stuff that we've done here on the show. Maybe we'll throw in a clip show since it's the last episode. But just want to say thank you and show my appreciation for everything. And most importantly, what I want to say is April Fools. You thought I was done? I'm going to give you a nice line from Leonardo DiCaprio in the movie Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not going anywhere. No, I fucked it up. I'm not leaving. I'm not fucking leaving! Oh my goodness. Can I just say, the Oscar goes to me, because that was a hell of a performance. I was keeping that shit together so hard. I was really trying to put myself in the sense of this would be the last episode, and how actually hurt I would be if this was the last episode. But I'm here to tell you, it is in fact not the last episode. And I'll first and foremost just say this. I hate April Fool's Day. I'm not a big prank guy. I used to like April Fool's Day when I was a kid. But when I realized that I was not going to be putting this episode out until April Fool's Day, that today was April 1st, I just had to do it. Because why not? Well, actually, there's two reasons. One, how many more opportunities am I going to get where an episode lands on April Fool's Day, right? Two, it actually kind of is convincing in the sense that, I've missed a few weeks. Things have been, I kind of talked about it a little bit last week, which, by the way, was not pre-planned. I thought of this 3 days ago when I realized, I won't be able to record until Monday, so it'll have to come out on Tuesday, which happens to be April 1st. But the way I was talking last week totally helps to sell this. And might I just add this? Marketing brain-wise, when you look at the title of this episode and see that it's going to say the last episode or, the end, whatever I end up titling it, you're going to click. You're going to check it out, or at least hit me up and be like, are you seriously done? And I'll say, you're going to have to watch the episode. And here we are in this moment together. And I don't want you to be pissed off at me and unsubscribe or anything crazy like that. Everything I said about how much I love and support you as an audience and for listening and subscribing and all that shit, totally 100% the truth. I take none of that back. And to be completely honest with you, some of what I was saying is kind of true. There are times when this podcast feels like a job, or it feels like something that I need to do rather than something that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? There are times where that is the case. Now, more often than not, I am excited to do this. I do have a plan, and everything is exciting, and I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? But there are times when it does genuinely feel not as fun as other times. And I was kind of thinking about it today. I do think it would be good for me to take a little bit of a break at some point. I'm kind of thinking, I can't do it now because, well, first of all, we're so close to our 5th year anniversary for the show. I'm not going to just not be there for that. That's coming up in June. I got a bunch of stuff going on that I can't wait to talk about. Some trips, things of that nature. I have like 3 guests already scheduled for the month of April. So any of those guys that are seeing this probably were like devastatedly pissed that like, why would you stop now? We were just about to come on the show. No, I got guests that are coming on. Good ones too. So we gotta get those guests in here. And I still plan on doing that for sure. There's plenty of good stuff coming down the pipeline that I'm very much excited to talk about and to share here on the show. I was kind of thinking July. I might take a little summer break from the show because I do want to have that drive again where it's like I'm excited to do it. And I think taking a little bit of a break is healthy for that. Plus, July is kind of a bad month for sports. There's not a lot of sports stuff I can talk about. My birthday's in July, so I can kind of just enjoy that. Maybe my birthday will be the first episode back, and I can tell you all about everything that's happened in the month of July. Now, I'm not saying that this is definitely gonna happen. I'm just thinking it could, and I think it wouldn't hurt. So I will give you a little bit of a heads up that may happen. Now, if for whatever reason I'm just on a roll and we got lots of content and it's rolling and I'm fully invested, no need to take a break. I'll continue doing this. But if I do continue to kind of feel a little bit this way where it's seeming to be more like work, yeah, I'll probably take a little bit of a break, but I'll make sure to let you know beforehand. I'm not just going to spring it on you. And the day that comes because it is true, it is in fact true that one day I'm not going to do this anymore. Like, it's going to have to run its course. I'm going to get eventually truly tired of it. And I will want to be done. Or I'll just be done. And I think that's probably what's going to end up happening is I won't announce my final episode. It'll just be done. Kind of a thing. So whenever that day does come, I probably won't announce it. It'll probably just happen. But fortunately for all of us, today is not that day. We do continue, and a happy April Fool's Day to y'all. I hope it actually worked because, again, I hate April Fools. I think it's kind of, dumb and corny in a way. There is sometimes I'm fun with I like a prank. Pranks can be kind of fun. But to have a day dedicated to pranking people, not necessarily my style. Yet here I am trying to do it to all of you. So hopefully it got a few of you. That way it wasn't completely all for nothing. But no, I am not in fact finished with this podcast. We continue on. I'm shooting for 300. I want to get to that 300th episode mark. That's a goal for me. But anyway, with all that out of the way, now that we've gotten past that fun little bit, let's get into the actual episode, because I do have some fun shit to talk about. So, I don't think there's any better way to transition from my retirement of the podcast to something that's consistently been a big story here on the podcast. Last week, I gave you an update on the vasectomy sign. I told you that they'd cut out the no scalpel, no needle portion of their sign, and I contributed that to this podcast. I contributed it as people, saw the clip where I kind of totally shit on it, and I talked about how crazy of a method that is. I also ran with the theory that that method wasn't working. Makes sense. Well, I have another update, and it's not as good as the last one. The sign's back up. It says no needle, no scalpel again. So my theories were unfounded. And as it turns out, one of my friends that I went to high school with, shout out to Jake, hit me up after he saw the clip from last week and said that he actually made that sign. And the reason they had to take it down was because they didn't have a permit to have a sign that big. They didn't even know you needed to have a permit to have a sign that big, but apparently you do. And they did not. So they had to shorten the sign so it would meet city standards, I guess. So, shucks. I mean, I was psyched. I was like, God damn, what a great story. What a great fucking clip. What a great theory to have. So the saga continues. The vasectomy clinic saga continues. And now, the only update left to give, we need inside information. We need somebody that has been to the clinic. I need information. And you know what? I will go and do investigative journalism if it comes to it. And I will go get a vasectomy myself. And I will report back. I can't even like imagine going to that place to legitimately get a vasectomy. But hey, for the sake of this podcast, that's how dedicated I am to this podcast. Just so you don't forget it after all of this. Don't forget how dedicated I am, because I will go get my nuts snipped just to let you know what the hell's going on in that place. I'd say that's commitment. You know what I mean? I'll do it for the bit of the podcast. So, don't question my loyalty to this thing, even though I question it myself sometimes. Speaking of getting your nuts cut off, here's something that makes you want to get your nuts cut off. The new Snow White movie has come out. Now, I've heard this was never a movie I was probably ever going to go see myself. But when it comes to Disney, I feel like Disney always gets it right. Well, always is a stretch. But typically, Disney doesn't miss. Especially when it comes to the animated movies. Pixar and like just Disney animated movies almost always are a hit. And they ride that shit into the dirt. Sequels and thirds, you know, and those are even good. Do you know how hard it is to make a good sequel? And they nail it time after time after time. You can talk about Marvel, what they've done with Marvel. Now, granted, we've seen a pretty significant slide in the quality of Marvel movies pretty much since Endgame. Star Wars. I guess they never really hit it with Star Wars. Like, they've never really done poorly. But they never really just hit it out of the park, I don't think. I guess Mandalorian was pretty big. I'd say they're hit or miss when it comes to Star Wars. And with these Disney live actions, like the live action remakes of classic movies, I feel like they've genuinely fumbled the bag time after time on these. Of all the ones I've seen, I think Beauty and the Beast was pretty good. I know they did a Cinderella. But then, like, The Little Mermaid, I heard was, like, okay. The Mufasa movie completely bombed. I didn't much care for the Lion King live action. I know a lot of people were pretty pissed off with the Mulan remake because there wasn't music in it. And, like, they completely went away from the original cartoon version. I personally liked the Cruella de Vil movie, so they have some bright lights here. This Snow White movie, according to IMDb ratings, is the lowest rated movie ever. I think it is. I know it got a lower rating than Dragon Ball Evolution, which has historically been known as one of the worst movies ever. That takes a lot. And you're talking about Disney fumbling the bag that hard. I'm sure that, and also I've heard, like, I'm sure the story isn't, like, the movie itself isn't so bad, but I've heard that it kind of is. Like, the directing and just the storyline itself, I heard it's not that great. Because what really makes you want to cut your nuts off is Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler, who played Snow White, before this movie even came out, she went on this, like, you know, she got on a pedestal, right? She was talking about, you know, she was basically on this woke pedestal, talking about how, you know, this isn't going to be like the original, old, outdated Snow White. She's not going to be in like a damsel in distress. She's not going to need no man. She's a strong, independent woman, and this, that, and the other. So she was already kind of like turning some heads with that, where people were like, okay, like, come, bitch, please. Like, enough. But then she comes out and she's talking about Palestine and Gaza and her support for that, while her co-star in this movie, Gal Gadot, is very Israeli. And so that was a huge controversy. That caused a lot of issues and was just very, like, distracting to the ad campaigning of this movie. And she's just riddled with theater kid energy, where she's like, you know, thinks that because now she's in this Disney movie that she's like top bitch. Like, she is just like number one, can't touch me, like I'm this boss on a pedestal, essentially, right? And people were just sick of that. I watched plenty of interviews, and then she's all crying around like, people who underestimate me, I hope that you see my successes, and just woe is me. You're a gorgeous girl in Hollywood who got a starring role in a Disney movie, and you're making it all about you. Like, first of all, think about like how many people worked on this movie. And for her to come out and like say all this bullshit and run her mouth and basically just tank this movie almost single-handedly, and the amount of people that are getting fucked over because she had to go run her mouth, that's selfish. Like, you're just thinking about yourself. And, think of it as whatever you want, but that's not even the whole part of this. I mean, that definitely was a factor that plummeted this movie. But the other side of it is, I've heard the story just sucks. So that goes on Disney. That goes on the writers, the directors. And my question is, how do you fuck that up? You already have black and white source material that has been around for 90 years. The original Snow White has been a staple and has been around for 90 years. It has stood the test of time. Like, is it the greatest movie of all time? No, but I wouldn't say that it's lost its luster. After 90 years, there's tons of Disney movies that are like, oh, that's problematic because of this, this, and this. Look at Peter Pan. You know how many, like with the racist shit with the Indians? You could say similar things about Pocahontas. And don't even get me started on, like, the old, like, Donald Duck. Wait, yeah, or Daffy Duck. Yeah, no, Donald Duck. Donald Duck And, like, there's plenty of racist stuff with that. Like, there's plenty of problematic shit throughout Disney's history. Snow White isn't one of them. Another thing, a lot of this all started because they weren't even going to use dwarves. You were completely going to change the source material. It wasn't even going to be 7 dwarves. Huge public backlash for that, to the point that they had to completely reshoot a bunch of scenes and put in CGI dwarves. So they completely caved under public pressure, public scrutiny over that. This movie was supposed to come out like 2 years ago, I think. And they've had to like delay the release because of all this scrutiny over, first of all, the decision to not have dwarves. And then Rachel Zegler just going off the handle and like saying wild shit. And then here she is still talking shit and saying crazy shit. And it's like, hey, dude, just collect your check and be done with it. Like, you are making it harder for anybody for this movie to make money. So, between all that, but like I said, how do you fuck up the story? I mean, I know the original was like less than an hour. It might be like a 50. So you probably gotta add a little extra stuff. But that doesn't seem like it would be that hard to do with this story. There's plenty of like things you could add. I kind of want to watch it just to see what some of the changes they made and why people are so against this movie. It's not really overly shocking to find out that it's bad because, like I said, a lot of these live action movies haven't been great. Aladdin was another one that I wasn't like overly psyched about. And that's one of my favorite movies. So it's not overly shocking that they would drop the ball on another live action movie. Especially where you have a 90-year-old storyline. But I feel like that's not hard to freshen up. You know? I don't know. Maybe that's just my take. Also, no, I'm not knocking Rachel Zegler in her looks department by any standard. But this is not my thought. This was something I heard on another podcast, but I think it bears repeating because I thought it was funny. Like I said, Rachel Zegler, very attractive. But to say, you know, the storyline is that the evil queen wants to get rid of Snow White because she is no longer the fairest of them all. Snow White is the fairest of them all. The most beautiful. Well, when you compare Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler, I'm like, especially Rachel Zegler with that fucking bowl cut, like that freaking mushroom haircut. Like, there's really no comparing between the two of them. So, the fairest of them all, I mean, I'm assuming it probably goes down to, like, the goodness and the kindness of their heart as well. But I was under the impression originally it was who's the most beautiful in all the kingdom. But I could be wrong. I mean, it definitely could be that Snow White is just an innocent, kind person. Shouldn't have cast Rachel Zegler for that portion of the role. Continuing down the problematic line in my topics of the day. This one really fucking sucks, okay? Like, I was so disappointed to hear about Joe Gatto from the Impractical Jokers being accused of sexual assault. Now, this is something that we've come to see happen time and time again with popular, famous figures in movies, television, music. This has been a pretty reoccurring theme over the last 4 or 5 years. People coming out and claiming or accusing of sexual misconduct. And I have to say accused because we got to get all the details here. We got to figure out all the information before we That's my take. I'm not willing to completely crucify someone who is accused until we have further evidence. Now, I will say, with some of these text messages that have come out, it's not looking great. As far as my understanding from what I've seen, the accusation is that this girl was 18, so she was legal. However, and he was like in his 30s when this happened, maybe even like early 40s when this took place. I can't remember. He said they said that this girl said she worked for them for the Impractical Jokers, and that in a way it was kind of a grooming situation where she turned 18 and then she was drunk and one thing led to another and they had sex. But the fact that she was 18, she's legal, but the alcohol thing, that's a problem. If she's intoxicated and not able to consent, that's a problem. In addition to Joe catching accusations, Murr from Impractical Jokers has now also faced some accusations of his own. These ones are fairly, some text messages have come out on this. Again, we need to, I haven't really done a ton of research into a lot of this stuff. I probably should, and I will. And then I'll be able to, give a better take on all this. So for now, I'm just trying to, play devil's... I'm trying to just, until I know the facts of the facts, I'm not willing to cast judgment yet. Once harder evidence and facts come to light, then yeah, I mean, I love that show. I love those guys. That is so disappointing to find out that if this is true and this happened. It sucks. Anytime somebody like that you admire or you enjoy their work gets accused of something like this. At the same time, I reserve judgment because we have also seen many a times where this has happened and they were false accusations. Or, things never really came, they were dismissed in a court of law. Which, that doesn't necessarily mean they're innocent. I know that. I'm just saying, there have been many cases of people making stuff up because it's a famous person and they think they can get money or some kind of notoriety of some kind. And if that's the case, in any case where that happens, I think there needs to be a penalty. You have to face some kind of fine or jail time or something like that. If you are falsely accusing somebody and ruining a reputation, ruining families, things like that, you have to face a consequence to that action. There was the kid he was the punter for the Bills. He got accused of sexual misconduct. She straight up came out and said that she lied. And he lost his career. He lost his entire career over that. That shit's fucked up. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and, just protect some guys because I like them. I'm not going to sit here and say that they obviously have to be innocent, right? No. I think everybody is capable of bad things. I think that even the best people that you enjoy and love, they're capable of horrible stuff. So it's not like it's impossible to believe that that these guys couldn't have done this. So until more information comes out, I will reserve judgment. But as I said, so far, from what I've seen, it doesn't look great. And Joe's response to these accusations isn't necessarily great either. I believe he claims no liability. He thinks he believes that what he did probably wasn't he believes that he was not in the wrong for what he had done and that what he did was not illegal is basically the defense that he's taking. He agrees that he probably should not have done that, but he believes that it wasn't illegal what he did. So I don't know. There's two sides to every story, right? We got to wait to hear it all out and see how it all unfolds. Still disappointing nonetheless. I think a pretty big rule of thumb for any famous person, you can't fuck fans. Because I think there was another girl who accused Joe who said that she was in the crowd. She went to one of his shows and things like that had happened. I might be getting things mixed up here. But I believe the one with Murr was another like fan situation. And you just can't get involved with fans romantically. You have to like it has to be organic. It cannot be like I'm a fan of you. That's where things just completely always go wrong. Or you gotta, like, if I was famous like those guys and hooking up with girls, I'm either definitely not doing it with fans, but I might go as far as to get a consent form. Like, where you gotta sign something and be like, I am consenting to this, just to cover my ass. Because, I mean, another one I want to point out, Dave Portnoy, he was accused of sexual misconduct. False. Those were false accusations. He had receipts. He had all the receipts to back himself up. So this stuff goes both ways. We've seen the dark side of this from the accused and the accusers. This one sucks just mostly because it is, a group of guys that I like. So I'm pretty disappointed to find out. We will see how things progress, where things go. But yeah, disappointing nonetheless to see that this, and Joe is one of those guys that I would not have expected this from. Murr, not necessarily overly surprising to me. Still surprising, but Joe, I never would have guessed that. Ever. Sal might have been the only other one I would have guessed the least amount would have done that. But Joe, I never would have saw that. It's just very unfortunate. But let's talk something a little bit lighter, something a little bit funnier and funner. I'm just going to tell this story straight up because of the situation that took place and why. There's a reason I'm telling this story, and it's pretty awesome. So the other night, I'm hanging out with my cousin Aaron. We were kind of bar hopping. We went to the Crystal, we went to the Monty, we went to the Rainbow, and we were kind of winding down at the Rainbow, getting ready to leave, cashing out. And I was ready to go home. Like, I had no intention on going anywhere else. It was about 11 o'clock. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty done for the night. This was one of the reasons why I was late for the podcast. But also, I wanted to watch the March Madness games. So, By the way, Final Four is completely set. We can talk about that here in a second. But yeah, I wanted to watch the March Madness games still. And that was just another reason I wasn't able to do the podcast until now. So we're getting ready to leave. We're cashing out. Aaron's like counting out ones. He's like trying to get the right amount of money. So I just like gave him a 5. I was like, dude, just use that. And I jokingly was like, save your ones for the strip club. And he looks over at me, gives me a little bit of a look. And he's like, maybe we go to the strip club tonight. And I hadn't been to the last time I went to a strip club was in Sturgis, which was almost a year, like that's a while ago. It's a long while ago. So anyway, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know, man. Because like I said, I was already ready to go home. And he just looks at me and goes, dude, neither of us have to work tomorrow. When have we ever gone to a strip club together? Let's just go out there, have fun. Fuck it. And I thought to myself, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go out and have a good time. And to be completely honest with you, couldn't have gone on a better night. We knew the bartender. We knew the door guy. We knew the DJ. Like, we knew so many people out there. So we were getting the hookup. They let us through the door for free. We got a couple of drinks comped. But the icing on the cake. And this might possibly go down as one of the most crowning achievements of my life. Or just, not even achievements. It's one of the, like, just great moments in my entire life. Me and Aaron are in the dance room. What do you call it? The stage room where the girls are dancing. We're sitting at a table. We're not up at the stage. We're just sitting at the table. We're drinking some beers, chopping it up, just talking, enjoying the vibes. And as we're talking, my ears perk up, and I look at Aaron and I go, dude, listen to the song that's playing right now. And he stops, listens, and we both look at each other. It was one of our songs. The DJ, because like I said, we know the DJ, started playing Cutthroat. So we're sitting at the strip club, our song is playing over the speakers, and a hot girl is dancing to it. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Because, to be honest, that's the first time I've heard our song be played, like any of our songs be played, without, like, doing it myself. Like, we're not on jukeboxes, so we've never been able to, like, get played at a bar for people that don't even, like, I was looking around at the crowd, and I saw a couple people bobbing their heads. I was like, dude, that's fucking awesome. They like the song. It's, like, people are digging the groove. And it was Killing Ghost, by the way. It was the song. And then, so, where the hell was I going? Oh, yeah, it was just, like, one of those things where I've never heard our song, like, come up as a surprise. I've had people play it at parties, like barbecues, whatnot. But most of the time, like, I know it's going to happen. Like, they tell me they're going to play it, or I ask, like, to show somebody, and I'll play it. But other than that, it's never been played out in public other than live. So it was just one of those moments where it was like, whoa, like, he caught us off guard with that. We didn't ask him to play that. He just did it. That was badass. Shout out to Jason. That was super cool of him to do that. And it just made our nights. We fucking gave a big old high five. We're like, dude, we made it. We did it. Like, this is next level. Which was, somewhat of a joke. But still, it was a funny moment. And it was just like one of those things where we're like, damn, that was fucking cool. It was cool that happened. So, that's just one thing I wanted to say. One story that I thought was funny. Also, almost got in a fight that night. Because I was driving downtown. I dropped Aaron off. And I was driving downtown. And this guy, like, these guys were in the middle of the road. Green light. Doors wide open. One of them, they were switching from the passenger to the driver or something like that. So I'm driving by. The one guy's got his door damn near in my lane. And I fucking honked at him. And then I just hear, fuck you! So I'm like, whatever. I keep driving. I look in my rear view. They flip a bitch and come right up on my ass. So I'm like, all right, like, here we go. Like, I didn't yell nothing. I just honked at them. Like, you guys are being stupid. What are you doing? You're in the middle of the road. It's a green light. Get in your fucking car. I didn't yell like idiots or nothing like that. But anyway, so they're trailing me. They're right up on my ass. I'm turning to go up Grand, or I'm on 6th, headed toward Grand, and there's that split between Division and Grand, and the guys, they come speeding, pull up right next to me, like they're going to go down Division, I'm going to go up Grand. So I look over, and they look over at me, and I'm just like, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. Try and come chase me down. Now, and if they would have turned up Grand, I probably would have had to pull over and just handle business because I wasn't going to let them follow me home. You know how dumb that would have been? Yeah, I probably would have just had to get out and either get my ass kicked or start whooping some ass. There was 2 of them and 1 of me, so I didn't like my odds. So I almost got I thought I was going to get my ass kicked that night. Luckily, didn't. Everything was all good. Couple other things, I guess. We got a few more minutes here, huh? What else can we talk about? I put this down because I thought this was funny. So, I've this has happened multiple times in the last few months or so. Apparently, I just don't read labels when I'm at the store trying to buy things. Like, I don't read labels. I'll grab something and be like, that's what that is. Throw it in the cart and come home to realize it wasn't what I wanted. Like, a couple months ago, I bought a stick of deodorant. I was like, Old Spice deodorant. That's what I use. Throw it in the basket. Well, I didn't read properly that it was antiperspirant, which is like the chalky white shit. And I like the gel shit, the blue gel stuff. That's what I like. Because I think it smells better, and I don't like the powdery shit because it fucks my clothes up. It gets my clothes all like chalky and white. So I was not ruining my shirts, but like it was fucking my shirts up. And so I was like, well, because I bought it, so I was going to use it anyway. Finally, I was like, fuck this. I'm buying the good shit. Got that. Bought some like hand lotion. My hands get really dry, especially in the wintertime. So I like to have like a little bottle of hand lotion in my car. And sometimes I like it to just kind of be like a good smelling lavender or something like that, because if I'm out and sometimes I forget to throw on some cologne and I'm going out, I'm like, well, at least I have this. I can like throw some of this on and it'll smell decent. But also, like I said, my hands get dried out. I like to moisturize my hands. Well, I didn't buy lotion. I bought cream. And it was supposed to be lavender, but whatever the concoction they came up with stinks. Like, it didn't smell good. It didn't do the right job because I require lotion, not cream. Cream doesn't really do shit for me. So now it's a useless product that makes me stink. And my cheap ass continued to use it for a long time before I was finally like, what am I doing? Just buy the right shit. But the crown jewel of my not reading shit happened just a couple weeks ago. So I've been trying to eat healthy at lunchtime. I get a bag of baby carrots. I'll eat some carrots, celery, banana, some fruits and vegetables, things like that. And just to mix it up, I've been kind of throwing in some cottage cheese lately. I know that's controversial. A lot of people are split on whether they like cottage cheese or whether cottage cheese is good or not. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's not like top 5 favorite foods in the world for me. But I don't hate it. So that I've been adding that. It's a good source of protein, dairy, protein, calcium, all that shit. So like eggs, I get eat some eggs at lunch. Just trying to eat a little bit lighter and healthier. And so I was at the store and I'm like deciphering which tub of cottage cheese I'm going to get. Because I got the small tubs, I got the big tubs, they got like large curd, they got certain percentages, things like that. So I'm like looking through everything and I'm like, you know what, let's just get the big one. We'll get a big one, it'll be fine. It'll last me longer. So that's what I did. Got home, didn't even have any until the next day at lunch. So I grabbed the thing the next day at lunch, crack it open, peel it open. Well, that's not cottage cheese at all. In fact, it was sour cream. And if you know me, you know that I hate sour cream. I absolutely hate it. And I just bought a fucking giant tub of it. What am I going to do with this? Not going to eat it for lunch. That's for damn sure. Now I'll give myself a little bit of leeway in the fact that the design of the tubs looked exactly the same. I just didn't read where it said sour cream. Because I'm looking at it, I'm just like, oh yeah, that straight up says sour cream right there, big bold letters. But I just grabbed a tub and was like, that's cottage cheese. So then I'm stuck with this giant tub of fucking sour cream that I'll never use. I ended up just giving it to one of my friends at work because I was like, somebody's got to use it. I'm not just going to throw it in the trash. Like, that's wasteful. You have no idea how disappointed I was when I peeled that back and I was like, and that right there should tell you exactly how much I hate sour cream. To peel that back and be like, and I was more disappointed to see sour cream than cottage cheese. Like, I would have preferred to see cottage cheese. That's how much I hate sour cream. So, you know what I mean? What are we doing here? What are we doing? Read the fucking labels, Dakota. It's not that hard. You know how to read. Get it together. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. Just the sour cream mix up. Especially because of how much I hate it. It was like, of course. It couldn't be anything else that I might be able to use. But no, it had to be like the last thing I'd ever want to use. Might as well have been a giant tub of mustard. Alright, guys. That's going to be it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me yet again. And thank you for continuing to join me because we ain't done yet. We're still rolling on. We're still doing it. This is not the end. Still might take a break down the road just to kind of, you know, just to take a break and to freshen up and be hungry to do it again, to get that itch to really go hard. But I still thought this was a good episode. I thought it was fun, and hopefully I tricked you a little bit. But hey, dude, kudos to my acting skills because even I was starting to convince myself. I was starting to be like, is this the last episode? Is this really gonna be the last episode? Because I'm kind of like convincing myself. So hey, kudos to me for my awesome acting chops. There's going to be so many comments where they're like, I knew the whole time. You're not fooling anybody. Which is believable as well. In truth, the positive message stands. Enjoy things while they last. Enjoy the good times while they're happening now. Enjoy your family, your friends while you have them, because you never know when they might move away or, God forbid, leave us forever. You got to enjoy every moment. Enjoy it, because it's going to go away eventually. So that stands. And it also stands when I say I am very much appreciative to you guys. I do honestly appreciate your viewership. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe if you have not yet. I would appreciate it if you shared this episode, get the word out, trick some other people, and yeah, it's always appreciated of just the support and if you help add a little bit to it. But most importantly, I want you guys to have a great week. I'll see you next week. Maybe with a guest. I'm not sure yet. Can't remember the schedule just yet. Or I'll just be back here doing my same thing as usual. Until then, don't forget, life's a garden. Dig it. Just gotta keep on